Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, King Cord One, and your co host, Nixit. We're here to
Uh,
do a super depressing and serious episode.
yeah, we should have done a fun. I guess we did a fun episode last week.
We did a fun one, but we needed more fun.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna need like 17 weeks of fun after this episode.
Yeah, we're going to have to do like 17 in a row consecutively. It's, I don't know why I decided to do, do this one, but gotta do what we gotta do, right?
Yeah, but
We made
I mean,
promises.
I'm ready for the episode. I just it's such a depressing thing. I was looking over here because I was just watching depressing footage. Obviously, ooh, biddies from
Ooh, thank you for
Musty.
those biddies, Musty.
Thank you for those biddies.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I was just watching like a bunch of videos of police shooting unarmed people, and
Yeah.
it was just so depressing.
It
Like
is depressing.
you would think they would just stop doing it just because there's so many cell phones now.
Yeah,
Like
there's so many cameras out.
yeah, the one I just watched, this guy literally records the officer, like claimed that he was doing it, in self-defense like they always do.
Yeah.
And then they found a video from like like a like person standing and watching
Hmm.
that taped it. He shoots him in the back while he's running away, and it's just
Yeah.
bad. Like I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because it's just so
Yeah.
bad. It's fucking brutal.
Yeah. So police brutality, man, it's a huge thing in this
I
country.
can I can I can link all the depressing shit I'm watching if you guys are curious.
Yeah, get those links out
Yeah,
because
gotta have all the most depressing like sort of like links in the description, I guess.
yeah,
But
it's just, it's been a bad thing for years. I mean,
yeah, I
well, I
mean it
mean,
goes back a long
yeah,
time.
it's been around for almost forever. But I mean, ever since people started wising up and using their cell phones,
Right.
it's a good thing that people are recording these terrible acts of violence towards
Yeah.
people. But in the same respect, like when it started like showing up on Facebook and it started showing up on Twitter and everything, and people were becoming more aware, I got to the point where I had to stop myself from watching them because I would get so worked up I would ruin the rest of my week.
Yeah, it's for real. It is really it would do that though. Like when you're watching it, it's just they make some of them will make you sick to your stomach like when because it's just so graphic and
Yeah.
it's so brutal.
Well, and
Uh
you get this. You grow up and you were told to trust police.
well
Police are
we
there
were
to
because we're
yeah,
white.
exactly.
We were told to trust
Yeah, that's
police.
true. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
Rodney King was the what kicked it off. It felt like. I mean,
yeah.
I know racial stuff goes back further than Rodney King, but Rodney King was a huge deal.
But I mean, like you grow up listening adults and listening to media and pretty much anybody who had a voice say police are good, police are here to protect you.
Hmm.
Always seek out the police in need. And now today, it's I mean I don't trust any police. And I mean there's good police officers, there's good people on the police force, but nowadays you don't know. You really don't. And one of the arguments is like there are good cops, but there's not a lot of good cops doing anything about the bad cops, you know?
Right, and we talked about that just a tad. I think even when we talked about gun violence. But yeah, no one was convicted in Rodney King. Most of these, no one's convicted. Luckily, the one I just linked, that guy was convicted and served 20 years in prison. So, or
Yeah.
is serving 20 years in prison.
But I mean,
So
like a lot of them who do
that's
these
very rare.
crimes, like what was it, the one in Ferguson, who shot the black
Yeah.
kid for taking a candy bar? You know,
Ferguson was bad, obviously, as
yeah.
which we saw because the riots afterward.
But I mean,
Probably the
like
biggest riot since Rodney King riots.
he was asked to resign, and then he went and
Yeah.
worked. He went to work for the state troopers.
Yeah,
So it's like
that shit's
that's not
ridiculous.
punishment. That's
No,
not
that's not punishment. That's not punishment enough. But
he shouldn't be allowed to go back to law enforcement at all.
yeah, I totally agree with that. To be honest, I don't know that I think he should be a free man at all. But beyond that,
Yeah.
whether he like certainly should not be working as a, he shouldn't still be like, all right, well, that was an unfortunate thing. Here's a new gun and a new badge. Is Cord's ear bleeding?
Oh no, it's my it's I have a red
Oh, the
gauge in.
gauges. They do, yeah, they do
I
look
look like
like
I'm
that. It's
bleeding.
just because they're so bright. No
Oh
one ever, no one ever sees mine because I always am wearing headphones.
yeah,
Mine are
here,
blue.
I'll help. There you go. Now you guys won't be distracted.
Mine are blue, so they like blend in more. They're real subtle.
That's
You
hilarious
you
how
don't
you got
really
blue
see
and I
them.
have red.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. Police brutality.
Oh wait, actually, I'm not wearing my blue ones. Never mind. I'm wearing my rhinestone ones. I just watched
Ah,
myself and I was like, oh shit. I don't have a camera of myself pulled up. Yeah, I guess mine are black with rhinestones.
that's
Such
funny.
beautiful lobes. Thank you.
Thank you.
How nice.
Thank you.
But yeah, like there's a lot to talk about with this because it goes on to so many levels. We talked about some of this when we were talking about police brutality, or sorry, gun violence, because
Yeah.
we discussed so we can rehash on that. I couldn't remember exactly where you stood. Did you think, I know that me and Julie were talking about how we believe that if police were going to continue to carry guns that we had to roll out body cams. Did you agree with that as well?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. Like,
I think the police should have just as much restrictions as citizens.
yeah, like because America's problem is we want to, like, we can't take away guns from our police officers unless we're ready to take away guns from the citizens because
Yeah.
you can't have anybody on the street be able to go out and buy shotguns and have the police running around with like billy clubs, but
Yeah. Or-
and tasers and shit. But if that's not the case, if we can't get rid of all guns yet, if America is not ready for that, then we have to find ways to hold people accountable. And dash cams aren't good enough. We need body cams on every officer that carries a weapon. If it were up to me, I know that would be
yeah.
crazy money, but how many lawsuits have they paid out millions for because bad cops shoot people?
Yeah. To
Yes,
I
I
think
I
yeah.
wish that they had. I wish that they would have body cams that were completely not activated. And if you were involved in a shooting and your body cam wasn't active, automatic like decharge from the like force essentially.
Yeah, it definitely
Uh,
like cuz they don't have punishments for that either. They're just like,
because
"Oh, you didn't turn your body
yeah,
cam on? Don't worry about it. You'll get it next time."
they have GoPros. I mean, shit, my GoPro has a wireless like radio activated
Yeah.
turn on and turn off. I use it when I film porn. So I mean, like,
I mean, they should
because
have if they
you
ever
just
leave the
can't get out of the
precinct.
blooming lotus position to just click like start. You have to have
Yeah.
a little.
Like as soon as you're in, like you can't get out of that. You're gonna have to
But
start
yeah,
the whole
like,
process over. By then, you're gonna
oh,
lose
that
the
that would be great too, Musty. Yeah, body cams activated by unholstering a weapon. That would be fine too.
yeah. Either that or
Although,
just have it whenever they leave the precinct. They should just always be
yeah,
on.
it's really tricky because I would even like to see more than that. Maybe like if they get out of the car, because we have dash cams. Dash cams are really common. I
Yeah.
would like to see maybe if they got out of the car, that was like break it. Because the problem with unholstering, I'd be worried about is like in the video I showed, he didn't. The fight, all the stuff that happened ensued, and then he just pulled out and started popping. So we wouldn't have known what happened if the guy hadn't recorded the pre-shots.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, data
I mean,
protection.
you'd just be
Unfortunately.
shooting. You'd be have footage of him shooting him.
Yeah, you wouldn't know why he shot him, or I mean, if he was
Yeah.
running away, it still is good enough. But yeah, in a lot of situations, like because in some body cam footage, at least it helps like with some. Although, if you remember when that body cam footage came out, where the old lady was coming at him with like a knife, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, you're like probably like a 250-pound police officer. You couldn't disarm one old lady from a kitchen knife.
Yeah, but I mean, like that brings me back to my point that I made in the gun control episode, which is we got a lot of police officers here in America, and alongside some of the citizens, is we just love to shoot our guns. It's fun,
Yeah,
and so
definitely,
if
definitely.
you get the smallest excuse, like a old lady with a knife, instead of wrestling her to the ground, taking the knife away and arresting her, or using pepper spray or something non-lethal,
Yep.
you're gonna get these fucking gung ho cowboys and then go, yeehaw! Here comes my gun. You
Oh,
know?
that's nice, Musty. What you were saying about the loot, or you used to have to wear one, had the same issue because it was found you couldn't shut them off. Okay, that's good though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to be able to shut them off technically. But yeah, what you were saying, we Americans love guns. They love shooting guns, and they all. I think that people have this mentality with police, and I think, just to be clear, as a disclaimer, I'm not anti-police inherently, but I am anti certain things about the police. I'm anti-police militarization. I'm anti-police not being held accountable, but I'm not anti. I mean, I know there are good cops. With that being said, my problem is, yeah, I get you, Musty. My problem overall is that they don't tend to be held accountable, and when they are, it's usually so pled down that they don't have to serve sentences, or the state pays out millions to the family, and that's like as far as it goes. And shit, man, $1 million doesn't make you feel any better if you've lost somebody you love. Like, it's not gonna help. uh but yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it, and I really wish that we could find some way to sort of regulate how much they get to use their weaponry.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't like, one of my biggest problems with the police mentality for me is that it feels like a lot of the people that go to be police officers want to have some form of respect, power, etc. Not necessarily in a bad way. It's the same reason people go to be big CEOs, or the same reason people be stockbrokers. But they want this power, and they want this feeling of being on the edge, and at the same time they're not willing to accept the fact that if to be at that level, you do have to accept the risk. Like, you can't just shoot someone when you're scared. You might have to actually use some of the martial arts you were taught. You might have to
Hmm.
use your taser, some pepper spray. Like, going straight for the gun makes you a coward. You don't need to shoot an 80-year-old lady. I think that
Right.
you could handle an 80-year-old lady with a kitchen knife.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't train regularly. They don't use conflict resolution. When oh shit, we saw it at our job where me and Cord worked. The police would come in all the time, and they just stomp around. They have no clue how to handle mental. They have no clue how to handle mental illness at all. They would
Yeah.
just like bring people to us, or have to come pick up clients, and they would have no, like, they would trigger their PTSD. They would like trigger them in so many ways, and it was just really frustrating to watch, because you're just like, dude, how the fuck has no one just given you like a 20-minute video on at least mental illness before you came here?
Yeah. I would get calls from the police officers all the time.
Yeah, on like crisis lines and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know why you're calling me. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
shouldn't you
And then
have
they
that
get,
sort of training, man?
yeah, and then they're frustrated with whatever mental health person that they're dealing with. Then they get frustrated
Yeah,
with me because I'm like, they're
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
I'm supposed to call the crisis line. You're supposed to take it from here. And I'm like, how am I supposed to take it from here?
Yeah, like
You know?
that's not, I mean, I could give you a couple of steps that every human being should know with common sense, but
Hmm.
yeah, mental illness are yes, it's true, and Musty's right. That actually encompasses an even larger thing. So many people are for cutting these kind of programs that help people with mental illness, that help people that don't make enough money, but then they are like, the same people are like worried about it or outraged when people are being shot in the streets. And you're like, well, when you give a militarized police weaponry and face them with mental illness, which can come off as very threatening and scary if you don't know how to handle it. We've seen that in
Hmm.
our, like, where we worked and stuff, and it can be frightening. And then it's just frustrating, because they should have that training, because you'd have to think a large chunk of who police have to deal with have some degree of mental illness, at least partially, a large percentage, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching, there's a video, it was quite a couple years ago. I think it was in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
where there was a dude who he was a mental health person, but he was like bound to a wheelchair, like he was paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was homeless too, and it was pretty much like there was just no context. There was just a cop
Yeah.
shows up and beats the shit out of him, and then ends up killing him. And I was like, I don't understand how this is thought to be okay at all. And then later, I
Yep.
find out that that cop actually got an award.
Isn't that some shit?
Yeah, And I was like, I can't believe that kind of shit happens, you know?
And then do you guys remember this one? I can't remember the name. But that's the one where it's the autistic kid. He's playing with a truck. They think the truck is a weapon. The autistic man has his caretaker, his therapist next to him, shouting to police. He's got a truck. He's got a truck. He doesn't have anything. He's laying on the ground with his hands up so the police know he's no threat. The kid's just playing with
Hmm.
his truck. And after he yells all of this shit, the police shoot not the person they think has the weapon. They shoot the guy laying on his back with his hands up. Like
Yeah.
it seems like a fucking SNL joke. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's so brutal, so depressing, so hard to watch
It's
that it
almost like
literally looks like an SNL joke.
you have to think that the thought goes across the guy's head, the police officer. The thought is, well, I already brought my gun out. I'm not putting it away
Mhm.
without shooting somebody.
And that's what Musty is saying too.
You know?
That's we are taught escalation is a huge thing. When you meet somebody, even if they're mad, you have there's so many things between hi, I'm officer so and so to shooting and murdering a person. There's a
Hmm.
plethora, a million choices and options. But the second you unholster a weapon, your choices, you've just skipped every choice. It's gone. You don't
Yeah.
have those choices anymore.
Yeah. And it's almost like, well, I already brought my gun out, and now I chose to be an asshole. I can't backtrack.
Yeah, like
Like,
what do
no,
you do? You can be like, you know
backtrack,
what? You know what?
motherfucker.
I was an asshole. Let me just reholster this. Like,
Yeah. Like, admit you were an asshole. Put your gun away. Apologize to the fucking kid, and then get
but
the
no,
fuck out of
you know
there.
what's easier? Shooting them and then going to trial and hoping that they don't convict the white cop.
Yeah. It's just
It's
like that one in Vegas with the kid at the hotel when the
hmm
SWAT team came in and they're like giving him demands left and right, and the
Yeah,
kid's
yeah,
doing it. And then the guy like said something like, "I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna kill you." Like he just verbally says, "I'm going to
yeah,
kill you,"
yeah.
and then he
On,
shoots him.
yeah, it's brutal.
So he's like, "Why are you making him do all these stupid things? He's obviously inebriated, but he's still doing what you're asking him to do. He's
Yeah.
no threat. His hands are in the air. He's dropping to the ground. He's standing up. Everything, and you guys just decide, all right, I've had enough making this kid jump around like a clown. Now I'm gonna shoot him."
Yeah, I'm with Musty and with what you're saying. It almost felt like he was giving him difficult commands so that he could shoot him. Like
Yeah.
he was trying to confuse him because it is confusing. I mean, it's scary. I have had police like draw their weapons on me, and I am lucky that I am a white kid. I mean,
Hmm.
I literally my whole life might have ended when I was 18 when I ran away from the police in my car,
Yeah.
and they caught up to me later and pulled what guns on me. They didn't shoot me. I was lucky, but who knows if that would have gone if I hadn't been a middle class white guy living in Nebraska. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, the motivational message on the side of his AR-15, even stuff like that. That's a great example to segue partially into how militarization is difficult. So I get it. I understand. I don't necessarily think I approve of it, but I understand things like those sorts of messages in war zones. They're there to fight. They serve their country,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to do some dark things to do that, and I understand that.
It's like that
Uh,
Vietnam thing, right? Where they
right.
like write
Sometimes
something on the side of their helmet, their gun.
exactly. Sometimes you have to do that because you almost have to be a different person. You have to get in that mentality because that's how you get survive. You know, that's how you
Hmm.
survive. But dude, you're a police officer. At best, you're a semi well paid SWAT member. You're not a fucking hero. You're not fighting in Fallujah. You're in
Yeah.
a hotel in Vegas, dude. Like you don't need like a full on tactical laser held machine gun with
Yeah.
like I mean, it's just
I mean,
crazy.
you're in the capital of inebriation and poor
Yeah.
choices. Who the fuck are you running around with a goddamn AR-15 shooting people?
Yeah, it's crazy. And there's several things again, like Musty was saying, it feels like that a lot. Like when I can't remember who it was, forgive me on the names, but there was the one video released where you remember the cop like pulled him over and he reached to like give him his license and he thought he was reaching for a gun. And he just shot him to death in his car.
Yeah.
And you're like, but then here's the thing. They were like, oh, well, don't reach for things. And then instead of being like, hey, maybe we should outlaw the idea that you can carry guns in your car legally. Now, I'm not trying to make this about gun control, but you know what? When you would not be so worried about getting shot, if every American didn't have a gun in their glove compartment, like
Yeah.
we're legally allowed to. I mean, if that guy was reaching for his gun, that wouldn't be illegal for him to be like, hey, I have a gun. It looks like this. All right, there you go, officer. Like,
Yeah. It's funny too how like, because I'm pretty sure the guy who got shot was black, right?
in Vegas or in the car?
In the car.
Yeah, in the car it was.
It was,
The Vegas
he was
was
a
a white kid, I
passenger,
thought.
wasn't he? Because like his girlfriend was driving.
Yeah. It was.
And he was
Yeah,
a passenger, and he was.
I
Getting,
think he was the
See,
passenger. Yeah.
That's funny because like if you were to like hear a story about Texas about a white guy getting pulled over, and he goes, "Oh hey, here's my fucking 8-inch fucking 50 caliber revolver
Yeah,
just right here."
that-
The cop's like, "Oh, don't worry about that, sir. I'm just
yeah.
asking for
Then
a
the
driver's
cop's like, "That's a
license."
great model. You know, I have one of those at home."
Yeah. He's like,
But
"Oh,
yeah.
where'd you get that? I might go pick one up myself."
And then they try to make it sound like it's not about race, and it's
Yeah.
so blatantly, just brutally about race. And statistically, it's not like they don't shoot white people because they're because white people make up so much of the United States.
Yeah.
There's a lot of white people killed by police, brutality as well. But it's not in the same way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not skewed the same way.
Like when they kill a white
It
person,
must be. Yeah.
it's either out of violence or confusion. When they kill a colored person, it's because of racism.
Yeah. Like it's just difficult because, yeah, as soon as they approach the situation and they're already on edge, and you're like, dude, that is racism. That's racism at its finest. Like if you approach any person of color and you're more on edge than you would be if it was a white guy, that's racism.
Yeah.
That's already racism. You've already done it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's very. I'd be more intimidated by size. I mean, I don't see I don't worry too much about the racism part of it from my end. I'd be much more worried as a small person. I get really intimidated if I roll up on somebody that looks like fucking Nick Merckx or, if they look like a bodybuilder. I'm more worried about, oh man, this person's way bigger than me. I'm much smaller. I don't know if I could take them even with training. But yeah, fear through perception, systemic racism. Exactly, Musty. And that's a main problem. But since we can't cure systemic racism, we just can't do it yet. We've tried so many times and they keep doing it. Like there's just no cure for it yet. It would be really nice if we had other stopgap measures to keep them from just murdering people while we figure out the racism.
Yeah. I mean, I would say tasers, but they abuse those too. I mean,
they do abuse them. They kill
abuse them
people with
too
tasers,
much.
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Less. I mean, I'd still rather, I guess, risk that. In fact, I was just looking at the one, if you remember, I think it was, I just looked at the date too. I think it was 2015. This guy, the guy, if I remember right, his only crime was that he was buying cigarettes like on reservations. Like he was buying cheap cigarettes or making them, and he was selling them on the streets, illegally selling cigarettes. It's a crime.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's.
Isn't it like
I don't know
because
if
they
it's a
don't make
real
taxes
crime.
off of it?
Yeah, exactly. So somehow he was illegally selling cigarettes, and the police put him in the illegal chokehold, and he had asthma, and they literally choked the life out of that guy. He died that day, if you remember.
Wasn't he saying he couldn't breathe the whole time?
Yeah, that's that one where he was like on top of him with the illegal chokehold.
Yeah, he had like his knee on his
Oh, hold on,
shin on his throat, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's watch this. This is exactly.
Hold that shit up. They crushed his trachea. Yeah. And that's what that protest is all about.
Look at this video that Musty put.
The chat.
Look at how the cops are handling this situation. They're scared. They're careful. I'm gonna skip around a little bit so I can see the disarming.
From the UK, an amazing video.
They're careful.
Weapon training.
I don't think this is the right one.
No, this is a different one. This is like what we should be seeing. Yeah, they so it looks like they end up swarming him, kind of like they would on like when they brought down the plane in
Yeah.
9/11. So like they're careful, they bounce around, they move, keep the distance to keep themselves safe.
Hmm.
Uh yeah, and then they take that guy. They take that guy alive.
Yeah, it's like a pack of wolves
Yeah.
coming in on for their
They work
kill.
together. They work as a team. Would that? Yeah, I know. That's what I just heard too. Shout at the end. Do you think that man would have survived in North America? Absolutely not. No, that guy
No.
would have gotten shot to death by police that were too afraid and too insecure to use teamwork to bring down an assailant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
that was exactly how I mean, it's amazing. And I get it. I get it because America's all about swinging our big dicks around,
yeah.
for lack of a better
Yeah.
term. And a cop doesn't look as brave when he's like, "Holy shit! Oh shit! A machete!" and he's waiting, to
Right.
strike. And
Right.
you look much more if you're just like, "Put the fucking machete down, bitch!" Like, I get it, but it's not fucking helpful to anyone.
There's a video of there was a homeless guy. I can't remember where it was, but it was a homeless guy who just came back from the war,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just I think he was just hanging out, like obviously close to like an interstate or something, but he was hanging out, and he was talking to one cop. The cop's obviously telling him, you can't hang out here, you could get hurt or whatever.
Right.
But then like all of a sudden, another cop shows up, and then another
Yeah.
cop shows up,
Oh my god.
and they started to do like the maneuver where they're all kind of like at their certain points, like one's straight on, one's off here,
Yeah.
one's over here, and that's when he started realizing, okay, this third guy's coming here, there's going to be a fourth one behind me soon, they're
Yeah.
going to start coming in for me. And he's like, I've been
Yeah.
in the military, I know what I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to get scared, and so he's starting to back up.
Right, because it's scary when you're getting flanked, especially if you have military knowledge. It's scary when
Yeah.
people are behind you and
It's
they're
like
threatening.
the only bad thing he was doing was just hanging out by the interstate, and now he's getting flanked. Like, what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah.
And he's like, the cops are like, "Don't you bolt?" And he's like, "I don't trust you right now. I feel like I'm gonna get shot. I feel like you guys are gonna come on me."
Yeah. It's really frightening. And it's like the police don't realize that they're scary. They walk around in full get-ups with their weapons out and with all the stuff in the news, and it's like they forget that it happens, that they don't treat the public like we all know that there's a chance we could die when we bump into them.
Yeah,
You trained with the police at Hendon where all the police were trained? Yeah, see, like that kind of stuff. That's great. Like I wish that we had that sort of training here because our training is, to be honest, the boot camp is like it looks easier most of the time than like doing like a summer boot camp.
it's honestly it's just a PT test,
Yeah,
like for a few fucking weeks.
I remember the first time that so for those of you that remember, I'm from Nebraska, and when I was at SCC, which is our community college where I'm from, I was studying programming with a minor, getting a minor in criminal justice because I wanted to be able to do security stuff at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I took like several police classes in a row, and I remember thinking that most of these guys, they were going for academy. They took this so they could go to the academy, and I just keep remembering that like when they would give answers, because we would do discussions and things like that. When it's okay to shoot, when it's not okay, should you give 20 years in prison? Should you give 5 years in prison for drugs? Like, and I just remember thinking, wow, at least 75% of these people are going to be terrible fucking cops. And I'm sure
Yeah.
they made it to the force.
I mean, honestly, this is how I see it with the whole academy and becoming a cop. You're just training to not trust anyone, and you're just training for the inedible chase.
Yeah.
Chasing some guy down, and you're training to be a good shot. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're training to learn how to drive the car, drive like an asshole. You're training to know how to get an aim in. even though
And I don't
most of the
even know that they're
killings are like.
really trained by. I don't even know if they're trained to aim that well.
I mean,
Like, I
yeah, I was
mean,
just gonna say they're usually like 5 to 10 feet away. It's not that hard to fucking
yeah,
miss.
that's what I mean. Like in the clip I posted at the very beginning, the guy's running away. He fires 9 bullets, and I don't think all 9 hit him. Like
No,
he's like 10 feet away. Motherfucker misses like half his bullets, I think.
yeah, that's just how I feel about the academy. I mean, they don't teach them how to become a protector. They don't teach them how to.
Yeah. They teach them how to be an
Yeah, they don't teach.
enforcer, not a
Yeah,
protector, I think would be a good way
they
to
don't.
say
Yeah,
it.
they don't train them to work with people. They don't train them to understand people in high strung situations.
Yeah.
They train them so they can protect their ass
hmm
and they
Our,
get to fire their gun.
yeah, our police force is at the point where like they would be like they're like Hunger Games style. Like they're it's at the point where like you're cheering for the rebellious team. I remember and I'm not proud about this. Like I remember when I heard that a couple of people ganged up and like took down a couple of cops. And I remember not being as sad about that as I was when those cops like and those cops didn't do anything wrong. They probably didn't deserve it. But it's hard not to hold all cops accountable because they don't hold themselves accountable. They don't hold
Yeah,
bad police officers accountable.
it's almost like
Greetings
they.
from Denmark.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Hello, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas.
DK.
It's almost like these cops. I don't. I want to say like they're like beta politicians, basically.
Beta
Like
politician.
they fuck up. They basically go, don't do that again. Now here's the state troopers.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Here, become a sheriff.
They do that all the time. They move police station. Yeah, like here in America, it's very common for them to move station to station
Yeah, or move
all
to a new
around.
town. They could still be a police officer just in another town.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
No,
Oh, you studied it. Nice. You studied
nice,
education of the police around the world.
nice.
I know that other places around the world have good police forces.
Oh yeah.
I was just talking up UK's who handles knife crime, and we just saw him bring down a machete wielder with the person alive. And America, it's so defaulted to just popping 3 bullets like in somebody's chest for no reason. It's really just heart wrenching, and it's so sad to see someone lose their life because the police are too like
I mean, we
insecure. You know what I mean?
the technology out there's technology out there, like the beanbag shotgun, but
Yeah,
there's even like this new thing where it's a cap that goes on the front of the barrel of the handgun, and when
yeah,
it fires, the bullet basically just turns the cap into the projectile, and then that hits them. It's gonna hurt like hell, but it's not gonna be
yeah.
lethal.
Yeah, it's an LTL weapon, like a less than
Yeah.
lethal. It can be lethal if it hits the right. Even beanbag guns, they
Well,
hit
yeah.
you in the chest. They can crush a
Well, I mean,
rib.
like just like the main argument that's been flying around this episode is if we have proper training,
Yeah,
they'll know how to use that stuff.
exactly.
Remember that kid from
Yeah,
Baltimore who got shot from having a toy gun? Yeah.
yeah. And at least that guy had an actual gun. Most of the time, they don't even have a fake gun on him. Most
I
of the
mean
time, they're
that
just unarmed.
like fake guns like BB guns and squirt guns and like
Was that the one where they just
they
literally
get
rolled up and shot the guy? Like they just jumped out of their car and shot him?
yeah, because I'm pretty sure they were like he was
They
playing
thought
with
they heard
friends
he
in the
had the
front
gun,
yard.
right? Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I'm thinking of the one where he was at the park and people called and reported him, and then the
Mm.
police just rolled up and shot him. Is the one I'm thinking of. I can't remember if that's the
The one
Baltimore.
I'm thinking of was the kid who was in the front yard with his friends, like shooting their BB guns, and a cop rolls up, doesn't even see the orange tip on it, just fucking lays him out.
Yeah, I mean it just happens, but it shouldn't happen. It
Yeah,
does
it shouldn't.
happen. It's too easy to just say, yeah, it happens. They attended a report, got out of the car, and just shot him. Yeah, because they got reports that this kid had a gun at a park, and nobody stopped to ask him anything about it. Oh, it might have auto blocked it, Thomas.
Uh,
Nothing posted. You might have to
yeah,
hyperlink it or something.
we didn't get a long post.
But yeah, it's the problem is we're so especially we America can feel so difficult to change things that we tend to like get to the point where we're just like, well, it happens. It's just an acceptable breakage, and it's too easy to think that way, and we have to change the way that we feel about that.
Yeah, The amount of training cops receive that could find U.S. varies from state to state.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
34 days. 34 days does not seem like
Yeah,
enough.
that
With
doesn't
just
seem
starting with
long enough at all.
Connecticut.
Kentucky's 16 weeks.
16 weeks is, I guess, better. That's more like
Yeah.
you should be training for months. It should definitely not be weeks. It should be months, right? We can all agree on
Yeah,
that.
I would say almost a year.
Yeah, ideally longer, but should certainly be measured not in weeks. That's my starter pack.
I
Do
mean,
not measure it in
I agree.
weeks.
There's situations you can't really prepare for because like there's just random shit happens for a cop. But
So it looks like the average is about 5 to 6 months if you average all of them.
yeah,
What's Nebraska, Thomas? Do you have Nebraska on there? That's where I'm from.
I think ours is in Grand Island.
Yeah, I think Grand Island does that. Well, we have a couple big ones. Serbia. Well, see there. That's great. Serbian 1.5 years to train for police. That's the kind of thing that you should be
Yeah,
doing. And it's
that
probably
sounds good.
it's probably way more dangerous to be a police officer in Serbia than in America.
Yeah,
Yeah, the training afterward. 2 years in Slovenia. Like that's the kind of shit that you should be looking at when you're looking at police training. Europe trains its people better overall.
yeah.
UK. Oh, the UK is 2 years too.
The
That's
police
a great.
have a sense of security too.
Yes, they do. And we really here in America, it's so adrenaline junkie driven. It's so testosterone. Like our police officers, they just don't they get too jaded.
Yeah,
My uncle was a police officer and he saw some unfortunate shit. In fact, I think he might have even been. He was a police officer in LA for a long time, and I think he was out there during the riots.
Yeah.
And
in
he
the
said it was
80s.
hell. Like, yeah, it was just absolute hell to be a police officer. And I get that. I get it. And at the same time, it's like, dude, you know what was hell? Being a black person afraid you're gonna get fucking murdered all the time. That's what's hell.
Yeah,
There you go. 3 years. That's more like it. Finland, Norway, Denmark. 2 years or more. That's more like it. Yeah,
so
and
ours
Musty,
is
like
like
we,
the like advanced express fucking
yeah,
schooling
right.
basically.
Ours is like a joke. Like
The
we're
accelerated
the
bachelor's program is what it is.
if all the police agencies in the world were Chinese restaurants, we're fucking Panda Express. That's unfucking fortunate, or Egg Roll King or something.
Yeah.
That's fucking unfortunate. But like, yeah, like the problem, Musty, same thing with what you were saying. 34 days in Connecticut. Don't get stopped in Connecticut, folks. The police don't have the power to arrest, but have the power to detain for 30 minutes. Yeah, we don't have that. Police can't arrest.
Yeah, they can arrest you for everything.
Oh, wait, you're saying okay, you're saying they're a different role. They actually are not. They're a different police something. Like I get you. Like within
okay.
the police agency, they're a separate role. I don't think we have anything like that. We do have community outreach. Like a
Really?
big thing here, like where we're from, is we have cops for schools.
Mhm.
Like we had a cop at our high school.
But usually they're just off-duty cops.
Yeah, they get, I don't know what they get out of it, but they just hang out at the school, and if something happens, they handle it. Ours was actually pretty good. He was kind of a dick, but you know, cops are sometimes kind of dicks.
Yeah.
And it would, in his defense, he had to deal with fucking shitty high school kids all the time, so I'd probably
Yeah,
be a dick.
want to be gang members and all that.
Yeah, exactly. The Latin Kings of Lincoln, Nebraska. But
Yeah.
police community support. We do have community outreach officers, but they're still regular officers. They just, like King Cord said, tend to be off duty or doing community service of some sort.
Yeah. We also have campus police too, but I think
Yes.
they're also considered like full police officers.
I think they are more like security. They detain and call. So they're more like what Musty's talking about. It. But even worse than that, sometimes they don't even call the police. They handle things in-house with corruption. That's how things like rapes get, like, because they have to report all the statistics for things like rapes and drugs in colleges. So UNL built its own police force, campus police, because then if someone reports a rape, they can punish them with the school and not report it to the police. and actually keep it out of their stats. It's really dark. That gets real dark real fast if you start looking at campus
It's
bullying.
also probably a way for them to protect football players of accusations.
Yep, it's been used for that. Yeah, in the
Yeah.
past, it
Yeah.
has.
That's
It's really dark. Right, Musty? Yeah, if you ever have the chance, or if you haven't already, sometime look up how our college security forces cover up shit. It's so dark.
yeah.
Some of the shit America does is some dark level shit. And one of the things that we talked about on Gun Day is also part of the problem with the police officers is we come at police officers saying, hey, band together and be anti these shitty cops. But when they do that, they get left to die with no backup. They get called rats. They get I was just reading from the cops that said that they would leave dead rats in their lockers. They would, just do
Some
all
like
the
real high
bullshit.
school shit.
Yeah, like shit that felt like it would be like in place like in some fucking TV show or like,
Yeah.
something like that. And they're afraid. They're literally afraid because there's enough corruption that the corrupt cops will just be like, "Hey, this guy's a fucking rat." Cops before everyone. If he's crossing the blue line, so nobody back him up the next time he needs backup. And then they threaten to leave cops out to literally die.
That's pretty sad. I've seen that.
Musty's not American, so
Oh yeah, he's from the
he's
UK.
got the pass. He's from the United Kingdom, but unfortunately, me and King Cord, we're part of the world's worst inspiration. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Musty.
Yeah.
That it's hard to blame the good cops for not speaking out because they get ostracized. If anything, they're more likely to get thrown out. Like they're more likely to have to resign being a good cop than the corrupt cops
Yeah.
are. It's brutal. It's real
That's
brutal.
some real high school shit right there.
It is.
Some fucking
And
cheerleading squad shit.
it's like high school at first, then it's like high school jokes, oh, dead rat here and there, and then boom, they leave you to die in a gunfight, and you're like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like seriously, that's what it's gonna be like. And I don't know. I'm with Musty. I don't know if I can, in good conscience, say that I would speak out if I were in the same position. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would risk my life with my family and my you know what I mean. I don't know if I would put that on the line to make it a better place. And I'm sad I can't say that out loud. But shit, man, I don't know if I can really blame them. That's why it should be on higher ups. It should be on commissioners. It should be on internal affairs. Like it should be on the squads that handle that to make it a better place, not the good officers.
I mean, you hear all the time how like internal affairs though like just brush shit off.
Yeah, they do. And sometimes they do the opposite. Sometimes internal affairs has its own problems. They'll do one of two things. They'll either brush it off because, oh, that's a good cop, or they will not like a cop for something else and specifically go after them and try to get them thrown off their area and pushed into somewhere else.
It's usually like the good cop like trying to tell the truth about bad cops. Like, we don't like that guy anymore. We're gonna kick him out.
I love the way education is run in your part of the world. Oh God, I love the way education is run anywhere but America. God,
What rank are we?
The only fault that could change everything is that you stop spending so much on defense. Oh God, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Wait, you don't like our 8 trillion gazillion
Yeah.
defense budget? What do we, dude? Like, I watched a whole documentary about how we just have like 8 billion tanks that just do nothing. They just sit in the field because we don't do anything with them.
It's a little eerie too, because they also have like a bunch of like disposable plastic coffins that can hold up to like 4 bodies.
Don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't like
and you're like,
anything about
wait,
that.
what are you guys fucking planning for? Like, what the fuck's going on? They have like fields full of those things.
Our defense budget, and it's so frustrating because our military is so strong that, like, our budget doesn't need to be that crazy. It just doesn't need to be. Yes, we have a defense system like a paranoid doomsday We do,
Pretty
though.
much, yeah.
It's seriously. Like, and you know what? Maybe it'll come in handy. Maybe when nukes go off and we have $8 trillion worth of defense and America takes over as the new British kingdom, maybe that'll be worth it. But I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
I mean, like, America's just so young. Like, you got to remember, while other countries have been around for hundreds or thousands of years, America's been rolling around for like, I don't know, like 250, 300 years max.
Yeah. It's
Look at the derelict mill.
what.
Yes, that's what I was saying. That back when they had money, that's kind of what we look like now.
Mm-hmm. What do you know? What rank we are for education? I think last time I looked, we were like the
Oh,
17th country.
it's I bet it's lower than that now. I
Probably.
bet if you looked at like, I mean, it depends on whether you're looking at education spending or education like
Like how
statistics
smart
on
we
it.
are.
Yeah, like if you're looking at smartest countries, I bet we're not that up there.
No, probably
And
down there.
and we use it for like nonsensical shit too. You know what's really annoying is that they spend like $8 billion recruiting people to go fight their wars, and then when they want something done, they send a $13 billion drone, and you're just like, then why did you spend the $8 billion on the people if you could do
Yeah.
it with one drone?
Why'd you send Kevin out there?
Or like, I was just laughing because I mean, I'm excited about it for the non-military applications, but DARPA, like, fucking DARPA, led by the DARPA chief, Metal Gear Solid.
We're 14th out of
DARPA,
40,
yeah,
according to
DARPA
Musty.
and NASA are literally working on an avatar program so that they don't even have to send real people. They're literally working on like, building.
Like what the movie Avatar? Like we
Yeah,
can have like
yeah,
external bodies.
they named it after that. How fucking cliche is that shit?
How fucking unoriginal are you guys over there?
Yeah, DARPA and NASA have the Avatar program, and with the final goal, and they're getting closer. Than it's kind of creepy with not only controlled like we use drones, but actually mind controlled external robotic bodies used from like Boston Dynamics with like the really effective robotics, and they're pretty close to it. I watched an article and sent it to Tay where like the guy had a robotic arm that responded to his brain, like no
Yeah.
controller. It just was fully robotic and worked.
So, I had to laugh at Musty's. He says we're 14th out of 40, but our news reports that we're second, which is a good example, a glowing example about how bad we're at math.
Yes, isn't that the fucking truth?
It's the truth.
they're just pinning it on like fucking one guy who's our smart. They're like Neil deGrasse Tyson. They're just basing it off him.
Yeah. Thomas is right though. We only teach for the test, not the question.
Where's Elon Musk from? He's not American, is he?
I don't think he is.
He's probably not American.
I think he's an alien.
He's probably like Dutch or fucking
Swedish.
He's Swedish or something. Yeah, he's got to be from somewhere way better.
Yeah.
You based on your GDP per capita. Yes, we do. We have a lot.
He's from South Africa.
I did know that. I knew he was South African. That's true. I should have known that.
Which explains how smart he is.
All over and over again, they've proven that our multiple choice standardized questions are not only ineffective at learning anything, but they are racist and sexist.
Mm-hmm.
That if they take people of the same IQ and give it to a guy, like men of different races and women of different races, the men will score higher than the women, and the white people will score higher than people of color, and that's just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
The No Child Left Behind Act really exemplified that, and it's really unfortunate because the No Child Left Behind Act was really
who did that? Was that George Bush?
That was Bush, yeah. It was a good idea, I guess, in theory.
It's a thoughtful idea.
Yeah, but the implementation left much to be desired.
Yeah. It's a nice sounding idea, but it's not a good one at all.
Yeah, it was atrocious. The No Child Left Behind Act is just atrocious, and we still use it today. That's our standardized testing is still based on that.
Well, that's because we're too worried about other shit.
All right, so I guess now we can just change the episode to "Let's Shit Talk America."
Yeah,
let's just shit talk.
We're gonna have to change the title. Just shit talk.
No matter
America.
what you talk about, you start with police brutality, you start with education, you start with taxes, you start with politics, and it all circles back to America's the fucking worst.
I feel like every episode though we circle back to shit talking America.
Right, Musty.
Musty always like tags in with us shit talking America.
Yep, it's true. I can shit talk America all day. I'm from America and I can shit talk. Because you know who's really mad about America sucking?
Middle of America, we shit talk America.
Yeah, you know who should be mad about America sucking is fucking Americans. We should be salty about it.
We should.
I remember growing up and being so like glad that I lived in the country where I had free speech to say whatever I wanted. Like, I love that I can say
Yeah.
fuck America. If I wanted to, I could say fuck Donald Trump, and I do quite often. And nobody's gonna black bag me and pull me out of my house in the night. That's great. I love that. But there's so much bad shit here.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time where I was proud of my country, but
We try to be funny and warm. We try to break the standard. You know, we try to break the standard Yosemite Sam look that Americans have.
everyone thinks we're all like gun toting, cowboy hat wearing.
We are about to leave the single richest free trade bloc in the world. That's true.
Hmm. Hmm. So
Yeah, there's great. That's what I mean. Like, it's not like there's not great things about America. Just the same way that when we're talking about police, there's not good police officers.
Yeah.
It's just America really. It's you could argue almost that our freedom is dangerous because not all humans are good at wielding freedom to its
Yeah.
fullest extent. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have freedom. I'm just saying freedom is kind of an excuse to do dumb shit. I mean, and like
Yeah.
seriously, some people shouldn't have as much freedom, I feel like, as they have. And again, I would never actually implement that. But like when you're listening to Alex Jones yell about turning frogs gay, you're just like, does this guy really need the freedom to have a talk show? Does he really need that?
I
Obviously,
think
I
he
think
needs
he
the
should.
freedom because even
No,
though he believes
does.
it,
I would never take it away from him. I would never, because I'm
it's
a
still
true
hilarious
American.
to listen to him. It's
Yeah.
still like you can sit there and believe what he says, or you can sit there and just pretend he's a comedian and he's just
Yeah,
doing a bit.
like it's a bit like when Colbert used to do his Republican bit. Like,
Yeah, the Colbert Report.
yeah, the America has so many good things in theory and just so much wrong. And we're so contradictory. We're a country that has marijuana ranked as a control one substance. That means marijuana is as illegal as meth. And we also are a kind of country that currently has like we have legalized marijuana in like 13 states,
Hmm.
and yet if you went to those 13 states and a federal officer wanted to, he could arrest you on the spot. Like,
Yeah,
it's just we're in a weird place.
it is. We're in a weird period. I don't understand how that works. How you can have marijuana be legal, but the fucking DEA can bust into
Yeah,
your immediate weed
and
shop.
they
You
do
know?
all the time. They raid
Oh
them all
yeah,
the time for just to pulling money. Like, what the fuck, dude?
yeah,
No, there's a lot of corruption, and not the least of which is our police brutality and police militarization that the full episode is about. We might have gone off tangent, but it all folds together because it's
oh
all
yeah,
political. It's all about the way that we as a country handle, our business, and we don't handle our business well.
yeah,
Yeah, federal law trumps state law. So the federal law can just pop in and just take over if they felt like it in a state where we've set the laws, which I guess is, I mean, if you want to be arguable, that's technically the Democratic, like that's what my party would want because we're for more governing and the Republicans are for less. So the funny thing is the funny thing is that the conservatives that don't want marijuana legalized are using a method that they hate liberals for, which is federal agencies taking away states' rights to get what they want. So like that's just what America's about. Right-wing Republicans being mad about federal agencies taking away state rights, but using federal agencies to take away states' rights as long as
hmm,
it suits their party. That's what's wrong with America.
yeah.
We tend to do a lot of shit like that. It's like a Game of Thrones episode over here.
So let's try to get back on track, just a
Yeah,
little.
yeah, a little bit
How
back
did
on track.
so okay? So like, are you with Colin Kaepernick?
Say that again.
Kaepernick or
Sorry.
Kaepernickle?
Oh yeah, yeah. The Nike ad. You're talking about
Yeah,
like the Nike ad
yeah.
and the yeah. Oh, so I'm super pro. I'm super pro protesting. I'm super for in favor of protesting and all of it, except when it becomes hate speech. Uh, like I, and that gets tricky. I believe everyone has a right to say what they want as long as it's not hate speech. So like I don't necessarily support like the Nazi gathering that they had in Washington.
Yeah.
But aside from that, both conservative and Democrats, like liberals and conservatives, I think should always use their ability to protest. And when we're ahead, when we have power as Democrats, the Republicans should protest us. And when they have power, we should protest them. It's how it works.
Yeah.
I think that's safe and I think that's good. And I think Nike was the smartest. What a smart play from Nike to use that.
Right.
There's a mouse on Nixon's head.
Is there a mouse on Nixon? Oh my god.
I thought you meant a real one.
Ooh. Like
I'm gonna guess Nike chose him. I'm gonna guess Nike said, "We want you to do it," and he was like, "Wait, seriously?" And they were like, "Yeah, dude, seriously." He's like, "Are you sure? Because I'm kind of inflammatory right now." And they're like, "No, that's exactly what we want to do." And
well, I mean, Nike sponsored the football teams that he was on, so
yeah, they were kind of already semi-sponsoring him in that degree.
I mean,
Not a rat mouse.
I support him all the way,
Yeah,
and I think
I support
it was a good
protesting.
idea for Nike to do it too. But like,
Still a great message. Yeah, Nike does use child
it's
labor.
just
That's
it
true.
kind of infuriates me how like you try to talk to some people and they're like, well, he's disrespecting the flag and the anthem, and I'm like, no, if you actually paid attention,
Yeah.
like you act like you do, you'd
Mhm.
realize that no, it's a protest towards police brutality.
Yeah.
And he was
not
told
only
by a
that,
veteran to do it that way
Yeah.
because it wasn't disrespectful toward the flag or the anthem. Well,
Yeah.
you guys are just so far up your fucking asses and want to be angry about everything. You know?
Yeah.
I stand. Well, I kneel next to him.
Yeah, and the thing is even if you, and this might be a little more controversial, but the truth is real veterans, real patriots, real Americans, they should essentially not be upset even if he was disrespecting the flag, because that's what we fight for the right to do.
Yeah.
We fight and we like bring home the right to disrespect things, even if it's what we care about. We are allowed to say, hey, that's wrong. You shouldn't be kneeling. You should respect the flag. And it's their right to say, well, I'll respect the flag when you stop murdering black people in the streets. That's how it should work, and nobody should. Let's be honest. Like, it feels a little like the disrespecting the flag thing is a cop out, because I think most veterans would agree, for the most part, not all, but a lot of them would agree that's what they fought for, was the right to protest.
And it's kind of funny because like that's how like football fans are. If they think they see something bad happen,
It was musty. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
if they think something like if they think that something happened that stopped the ball from going into the end zone, they get all pissed off and they go, "That's a foul. Why isn't the ref throwing his flag? That's a foul."
Yep.
And it's just like that. You know, they're like, "Hey, he's kneeling during the anthem. That's against America and the flag."
Yep.
And all that. It's like, no, shut up. Pay attention.
And we learned that it was the opposite, but then Nike. That's fun. Yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying, Thomas. Yeah, so that the kneeling, inherently the kneeling would almost look more respectful, not less. But no, yeah, it's it would be considered very disrespectful here. But yeah, Nike's sweatshops, obviously they shouldn't have those. You can't backpedal that at all. You couldn't backpedal that in a pair of fantastic Nike shoes. Sponsor us.
It's fun. You know, it is funny. Like, I saw in the chat people were saying that even though like it's still got Nike money.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Nike was laughing their way to the bank while everyone was burning their shoes.
Yeah,
Like,
because people had to buy those shoes.
yeah, they already bought the shoes. They already bought the stuff.
And there's
Nike just laughed at all the
Yeah.
free publicity.
There was videos of dudes like burning Nikes while they're wearing their Jordans still.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
You
you're just
know?
like, dude, are you serious right now? Like,
And the memes are fucking fire. Like I stand with Colin, but the memes are
no,
also fucking
it was
hilarious.
worth it for the memes alone. Like, good for you, Nike.
Yeah. I mean,
Just make the children do it. Oh God, for real though. That's like Nike's motto. Get sweatshops. Just do it. That's actually where their logo comes from. They're like, all right, kids, time to make shoes. Just do it.
Yeah, just don't question me. Just do it.
Boy, those boycotting football players are abusing their platform or supporting a leader who abuses his platform. That's the whole joke, right? Like
Hmm.
America is so flip-flop. It's like you can't fucking throw a rock without hitting a lying flip-flopping piece of shit in American politics. No one. Where's Alanis Morissette when you need her? But yeah, like
Isn't she dead?
seriously, you can't fucking hit anybody that has some real credibility, it feels like, because human nature is to look at a situation and abuse it for your
Yeah.
advantage. And in politics especially, it's bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So how do you think, if you think we can at all, fix this? Obviously, we talked about body cams on
Body
police.
cams would go a long way because you can't lie about the footage. You can interpret the footage in different
Yeah.
ways, but at least if we had body cams on everybody, and you'd have to think like how much did the US government pay in police brutality settlements in the last 5 years? I bet it's enough to buy a set of body cams and software.
Yeah.
But it's just frustrating because that would be a great first step. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would go the way of the UK, and I would personally, I'm a left-wing hardcore liberal. I would just take away most guns from almost everybody, including the police, and
Yeah.
just not have guns. But if we're going to keep guns because it's America and Americans won't give up their guns, we have to hold them accountable through another method. We have to have body cams, or ideally we should have dash cams while you're in the car. The second you step out, your body cams activate. The footage can only be checked and erased at home base. Like it should be archived and protected.
I mean,
It's
I would
fair.
go as far as saying that we need body cams, and I
Yeah.
think the body cam should be turned on whenever the police officer is outside of its vehicle, because the vehicle already has a dash cam, right? And I think we should put
Hmm.
measures on, if they're going to continue to have handguns. I think we should have measures on the handguns where, like, as soon as it comes out of the holster, cam on the handgun
Hmm.
turns on, so you can see exactly who he's shooting at, have some kind of timestamp,
Yeah.
all that shit logged away.
Yeah. Musty's right. They have to be activated manually, Thomas. So people have been abusing them. And beyond that, part of our problem is that they're not as widespread as they would seem. They're more widespread in big countries, like certain or countries in big states or large cities, but like we don't have body cams here in Nebraska. We don't have
No,
the
we don't
money
have
to
any.
support it. And it gets frustrating because again, the accountability should be there. And what Musty said, the sentence, I was in fear of my safety and the safety of others. They use that all the time. Okay, you shot him because you believed it. It's so frustrating that they don't use the same guidelines they use for us at trial. If you fucking shot a guy, or if you did something wrong, you would be held to what we would call a burden of proof to prove that not only you believed you were in trouble, but that a reasonable person would believe they were in trouble. A normal person with no bias or fear would believe that that was something bad about to happen. And they don't hold the police to that standard. The police do get get out of jail free card by just saying, well, I'm an officer of the law and I thought that I was in danger. Well, big
Yeah.
fucking whoop. Your job is to be in danger, dude. You can't be a fireman and be like, I didn't run into that fire to save someone. Fires are scary. Motherfucker, you're a fireman. You run into fires. That's your job.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that the argument where they're like, it kind of came out when Black Lives Matter kind of started.
Yeah.
Well, then they turned around and go, well, police lives matter. It's like, motherfucker, you chose that fucking job.
Yeah.
You weren't born into that fucking job. They didn't hand
Yeah.
you a badge and a gun when you were a fucking infant, asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
they
chose to
they
do it.
they forget too that see they get so obsessed about the backlash from that they don't just think, yeah, obviously police lives matter, but police lives matter more when you respect everyone else's lives. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Country that owns 60% of the world's firearms. God, I'm surprised we don't own more than 60% of the world's
Yeah.
firearms. I bet that's not an up-to-date statistic.
That probably is a couple of years old. In fact, if a couple Americans find out it's that low, they'd probably start getting more.
Yeah, start making more guns. They'd be like, all right, up the defense spending by another trillion. We got to make 50,000 more guns a day.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we can cut school like music programs and gym
Oh,
and shit from
God.
schools, right? So we can get some more guns.
It's brutal. Oh yeah, hold up, shout. Let me load. I'll load it up.
Got some on Discord for us. Check this out quick.
What the?
Oh shit! I'm signed into my old one, my other one.
What the fuck, shout?
Is it something
That's
terrible?
No, it's just he sent me something fucking funny.
Is it related?
Wait, are you gonna go? Are you gonna go get some? Go do it, shout. Just go run over there at the highest speed you can run over there. But yeah, like Switzerland has the most guns per capita, but that doesn't feel entirely fair because Switzerland is like a really professional gun maker. Like you'd have to think a lot of their firearms are just on hand because they make them. Like, you know what I mean? They manufacture them. Swiss rifles are really good, right? Don't they make isn't the FNFAL and all of its variants made in Switzerland?
Sounds right.
That a rifle? Oh no, that was Belgian. Wait, is Belgian? Yeah, I mean I get confused because we don't learn a lot of like geography in America. It's super annoying.
We're well, you know, we're like 14th out of 40 in education, so we're not very good at math or geography.
I thought Switzerland made those. What the fuck did they make that was
Pocket knives.
No, god damn it. They made the STG. The STG is what they made. That's right. That's a good rifle though.
All right, let's check out this video that Thomas.
Oh, dude, shout, just run, dude, just run.
Ads.
Oh god.
What's our time right now?
Let's check it.
This past
1 hour,
weekend,
16
a student
minutes.
at Georgia Tech who was armed with a pocket knife was shot and killed in a
Worth
standoff
it,
with the
shout.
police.
Worth
On
it,
social
dude.
media, people
Gotta get
once
that.
again
Puss,
said
puss.
The cops really have to shoot. Where was the taser? There must be a better way. Maybe the United Kingdom.
Dude, the
a
UK
place with plenty of
system
violent
is so
crime.
good.
But when cops here respond to emergency calls,
Hope
it
you
often
don't
looks
mind, but I'm
something
putting
like
the
this.
video over your feed.
The attacker gets a few swings
Oh, that's
in,
fine.
They tase him, they tackle him, but nobody dies. So why the different approach? To learn more, I visited the city dubbed one of the
I'm gonna
most
skip
murderous
around some of the
places in
slower stuff. I
country,
watched the entrance,
Birmingham,
and I
England,
want to watch.
and embedded myself with Birmingham's
I watched the
finest.
first like minute, and I'm gonna skip to
We jumped in the match patrol car to go pick up our partner.
Bad boys, bad boys. We stop to get criminals
The British
away
police
to
are really
where
good
we're
at
going,
talking, he
or if
said.
we see any
Oh, yeah.
crime, do we just drive
at like
past?
4:30, talking things out.
Let's see the body cams already.
Crime, like we just see
Yep.
someone just shoplifting or something.
Of course, he's wearing a
If we see
GoPro.
rape, we'll stop for a rape,
Yep.
I assume. Yeah, all right. In America now, you know, there's guns everywhere. Do you have a gun?
No gun, no taser.
Oh my God,
Custodian,
100 cops have died in the
You have
UK
pepper spray and a
since
stick?
1980,
What's the biggest thing
and
that
since
come up against
1980 in
you?
America,
Pepper spray and a stick?
2,300 cops have died.
swords,
Again, because of our
knives.
guns.
And if there's a gun,
That's
you're
That's where you
crazy.
were born,
gonna
yeah.
do that. And then you ring
Since
someone
the
with a gun
80s?
and they show up with their gun.
Yeah, so in the last like 30 to 40 years, they've lost 100 cops, and we've lost 2,300
Birmingham
be
technically
in the
is
line
the
of
murder
duty.
capital of the UK. But the number of homicides here last year, 13.
How many
Compare that
police
to
shootings are
Birmingham,
there?
Alabama, a city 1/4 of the size with 104 homicides in 2016.
Jesus Christ.
After a briefing about my official duties and a quick tour of the facilities,
They're trying to get stats from the cop,
Locked up for the night, right?
and they can't even get one. He's like, we'd have to go in decades. Like, you know, here it's like how many cops fired their weapons, like how many deaths are there a year, or even a month. And he's like, we'd have to measure it in decades. I think there's like one every 5 to 10 years, or like.
I don't normally switch off the engine, ideally.
You ask
And
them to
that's
reach
the
where their hands
most
can't be
murderous
seen.
place in the UK.
The first
That's
thing in
that's
America,
a.
please keep your
See,
hands on the wheel
videos
where I
like
can
that
see them.
literally
Please do
feel
not
like
move them. And you're like, if you
weird
could just
to us
reach
to
down
watch here
below the
because
steering wheel,
there's a
really
shooting
appreciate
that shooting I just talked about happened like a week ago. Like there are shootings every day, every week, every month. There's
Oh,
shooting.
yeah. There's probably a shooting like every 10 seconds here in America.
So what are we going to
Yeah.
exactly?
This is a guy who's running down the road throwing drugs after failing to stop his car.
He's throwing drugs around?
Yep.
Where would he throw these drugs? Where would they be?
Let's see if I can get a stat on that while you finish that part of the video.
We'll try to get those.
Right then, let's go and have a look what's going on. Probably not the best that he's running himself into a school that's still open.
In 2013, I know that's kind of an old one, but I'm just looking up stats in general. In 2013, 5 years ago, there was 73,500 non-fatal firearm injuries and 33,600 deaths. That's 1 year. 1 year in the America. Now, that's not related to the police, but just in America, across our country, 73.5 thousand wounded and 33,000 and a half deaths due to injury by firearm in the year of 2013. I mean, it's just
Wow.
I mean, we couldn't measure it like that if we tried.
Yeah. All right, hold on. Let me bring this back up.
Yeah, it's true. Honest to God, if you were really going to try to overturn our Second Amendment, like say, okay, we have to regulate guns, it's time to regulate guns, Musty's right. That might be the start of America's second civil war. Yeah. And unfortunately, they would have a lot more guns than us because we're anti-gun.
That's true.
What an interesting idea that we would have to fight a war over guns with guns. That sounds like some dumb shit America would do, though.
Yeah.
Don't take away my guns. I'll shoot you. Hey, you can't shoot me with your guns you shouldn't have. I'll shoot you.
Flip off a person in another car. I would be doing that all day. So let's say you go over to a house.
Yeah, I'll rewatch the full video also when I have a chance. I just didn't want to watch the whole thing like back to back on like for 6 or 7 minutes like in front of you guys while I was just like blank faced. I skipped through to like the parts where they were talking about statistics and like things like that, and it was pretty good.
I'll skip to this one.
In a different world, and in a way, they are. Since 1980,
yeah.
have been killed in the line
Yeah,
of duty in the
yeah,
UK.
I get what you're saying. It would be
That number is over
it would be so
2,000
difficult. Oh, here's where I was talking about. The UK police, and it's brutal, man. Like we just don't handle our police are militarized, and worse than that, our general population in places like in Texas, it's like a militia. People just walk around with guns on their hips like the fucking Old West because they have open carry.
They got like SMGs strapped to their fucking thigh.
Yeah. It is not unusual. When I was in Texas, it was not unusual to just see a guy walking around with a fucking gun on his hip.
Texas, you get a gun with your fucking milk at the quick shop.
Yeah, here's that'll be $2.99, and here's your free Smith and Wesson.
Yeah,
we're coming in on a Thursday.
In Texas, you go to a bank, open a checking account, and you get a fucking sniper rifle.
That's how it fucking feels.
Here's your Remington, sir.
Oh, nice. That's why I always choose Great Bank of Texas.
Yeah. Oh, finally, I have something to put my scope on.
Lately, I've only been putting that on my Judge to make 50 caliber, fucking revolver. It'll fit much better on this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how bad fucking Texas is.
Yeah, stats get skewed like that. Texas is like Texas feels like the Old West. It's crazy.
It feels like the Old West.
Yeah, I care what happens to the Americans more because I'm American. So I just I don't want a civil war over it's so true. The application is just so difficult. Like taking away Americans' gun is like trying to take away like a toy from a fucking toddler. Like they're just not going to have that shit. They're just going to cry and scream and possibly murder you.
Yeah. Cry and scream and get you when you're sleeping.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible, man.
I mean, honestly, it feels and it sounds like they're gearing up for martial law or like a police state where there's just going to be tons of them marching down our streets and, you know, coming door to
Yeah.
door to take your shit away. And if you fight, they'll fucking put you out.
Nuke karma. But yeah, like it does feel that way, especially when Donald fucking Trump, douchebag in chief, was trying to
The Great
organize. Yeah, he was trying to organize like military parades. Like, oh, dude, okay, just I know this is completely off topic. Did you see that North Korea and South Korea reached an agreement,
I did see that.
a peace treaty?
But I also saw that they, like, somebody proved that the photos that were sent to media were photoshopped of.
Yeah, no, I know. I read that too, but if it's not just a complete lie, what an interesting idea. I mean, Korea's been at war for like 60 years. We haven't seen like North Korea. If in the actual thing, North Korea said they would allow like fucking people to come visit there because they want to, not starve to death. Like they want income and revenue and
Yeah.
stuff. So like North Korea is talking about opening its borders. That is something I did not think I would see for a while. I didn't expect
Yeah.
that. And of course, it's in early talks, so like you never know.
Yeah.
But how fucking interesting is that? I mean, I just can't believe it.
How disappointing would it be though if like
Yeah,
he
North
turns
Korea
around?
is going to de-escalate nuclear program. It would be so cool. It would be, yeah, they want tourism because they should. Their people
they
are
need
starving
tourism,
yeah, their people are starving in the streets, and tourism would be enough to, especially because think of how much tourism they'd get, especially at first. It would, within a year of opening their borders, I bet they'd have enough money to feed their nation.
because like
They're small.
they feed their military first before they feed their people.
Yeah,
And it's
and
usually
even
just
the
small
military don't
amounts
get
of
it.
rice.
Yeah, they don't get a lot. It would be, yes, we'll see. Yes, exactly what Musty said. We have to make sure that we're gonna really see the change here.
Yeah, I
And
was just
that
gonna say, like, how disappointed would you be if we find out like Kim's
Right.
like, well, only certain officials from South Korea can come
Mhm.
over, you know?
Yeah, like it's all just a trap. They're trying to trap South Korea.
Yeah.
All of South Korea, just come over for today only.
Yeah. Bring all of your important people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, Musty. Well, that's the problem. Yeah, it would just be the thing because if they open their borders, I truly believe they would have enough income within a year or two to start jump starting their like economy again. Maybe not to the degree they would want, but they could afford food. They could afford food, and that's would be
Yeah.
more than they've had in 60 years.
So we've pretty much reached. We have half an hour left, and we've pretty much
That's
reached all
cool.
our points
Yeah.
and how we felt. So this is
Oh
usually.
no, you linked it to me? Motherfucker says this shit gets me every time and then links it to me.
This is
That's-
usually the time of the episode where we ask if anybody wants to take call for the last half hour. So if you guys want to get in on the episode, say your opinions, say how you feel, in chat, and we'll get you into the Discord. Other than what's the video about? It's so sad.
It's somebody that picks grass for like their living to provide they sell the grass for like feed and stuff.
Oh, in North
And
Korea.
but yeah, everyone is so skinny and everyone is like dying.
Have you seen the videos?
Oh, and they said that she died supposedly. Did this person
Oh.
have source?
It's already sad.
God, did she really die, or is that? Please, God, let me. I hope that's not. Okay, no one gave me a source. Maybe she didn't die right after it was filmed. Somebody said she died of starvation after that was filmed. So
yeah, Musty,
fuck
if you want
me,
to
dude.
get in on the phone call.
Yeah, Musty, hop into Discord.
Yeah, let's get in there and let's do it.
I'm gonna hit the restroom, but let me
You hit
link
the
up
restroom. I'll get
while
Musty
Musty comes in.
into the interview room.
Yeah, all right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna hit the restroom before we finish this last like 20-minute interview.
Alrighty, I'm just gonna get this set up. Do 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 do. Very awkward. All right. Let's see, Musty, are you in general? Musty. Oh, oh, oh. Can you want to come in and annoy Musty? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could take 2 people for a phone call. If you'd like. Here, let me get this. Whop. There you go. There's to our Discord.
All right, I'm back.
I don't know why I did that, but
The fuck did I just do on my phone?
I don't know. What'd you do?
God damn, I don't know. Actually,
What happened?
my phone went crazy. Just join something else, Musty. Join general. Join like the general voice.
Yeah.
We'll bump you in if it's giving you trouble. It's
Or
something
the text,
about
I can just drag you into there.
you gotta go to the general voice chat.
We're gonna see if we can get Thomas in too, so he can annoy Musty.
We're doing a panel.
We're doing a panel on this one.
I gotta go to the fucking gym after we get done.
Oh yeah, that sounds terrible.
Gotta go. It's arm day. At least arm day is fun. Leg day fucking blows.
Oh
I like
yeah,
arm day.
for sure.
Fucking hate. There's just the muscles in your legs are huge. It takes forever to tire them out. Like we had to fucking. I have to tear them up way harder than I do my arms. My arms are good in like an hour.
Why is it not letting me drag Musty into the interview?
I can.
Oh well, then there you go. Musty, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Cool.
What's up, baby?
What's
How's
going
it
on?
going?
You're
I
sounding.
hardly recognise your voice, Nix.
Barely recognize my voice. I've
Yeah,
been gone for that long.
I could barely. Musty sounds a little bit sexier right now.
Oh God, I
that
don't know
even
if
possible?
I can. Yeah, I don't know if it's possible.
We just found out it is.
Yeah.
See. Probably like a really awkward moment in the episode.
No, it's normal. It's like and we go to the colors.
All right.
Oh, camera's on the whole time, huh?
Camera's on the whole time.
James from London. You're on the air.
Thomas, are you pickle slicer?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess he's pickle slicer.
I'm assuming it's.
I hope so.
If you want, let's see.
It's about to get really awkward if he isn't.
You can rename people. I do that all the time to people. They get salty about it.
The slicer of pickles.
Change the nickname.
Like
there
that.
you go.
Yeah.
Done. All
I don't
right.
know whether it's weird that there may be 22 other people called Pickle Slicer.
I always think that too. That's got to be a weird thing.
All right. See if you can get pickle slicer or Thomas in here.
Already did it, bro.
Thank you for that. My son uses this Discord.
Oh,
No problem. Your son's name is
we
Pickle
just
Slicer.
we just outed your son.
That's a good.
That's a whole other podcast right there.
All right, so we already talked a bunch. So, what do you guys want to start with? How do you guys feel about what we talked about, and like about from your point of view?
Well, our point of view, mine and Musty's would be kind of similar, right?
I would think so. At least more similar than most Americans that we come into contact with.
Well, you sound fucking American.
Yes.
We
Oh
are.
yeah. Super American.
You sound
It's
American.
almost like
I'm
you've had
American.
6
I'm
shots
so-
there.
I think last episode we established that I'm so American I look like the GameStop employee that wouldn't answer your questions on my break.
That's right.
So yes, we got it. So it's 3 Americans against 1 EU member.
Oh no, Musty's UK.
Yeah.
No, I'm a
Oh,
proud
yeah,
member of
fine.
the. I'm a proud member of the EU until next year.
Until next year, yep.
No. My problem was that I thought Musty was actually talking.
Oh.
Okay.
No, Musty's the
I
sexy
can
sounding
I
one.
can hear it. Yeah, I can hear it. Fucking sexy.
It's fucking sexy.
I feel like we need an adult right now.
We need an adult. We need an adult in the room. Somebody get an adult. So
Yeah.
There's no adults
Musty,
here.
You
Sorry.
were here, Musty, for the gun episode. So you even talked about some of the gun stuff. But
Yeah.
like, is it just Is it weird to look at like news from America when you have such an effective police force that is so safe and effective?
Kind of. I mean, we have a lot of actually. Ironically, we have a lot of problems with our police force at the moment because our Prime Minister Theresa May, who was actually the Secretary of State, so she actually looked after police numbers within the UK. On her watch, we've lost almost 40,000 officers countrywide over the last eight years. So we're now at a point where our police are absolutely to the bone. I mean, I worked in the police almost on a daily basis when I worked within the transport policing of London, if you want to call it that. Mm-hmm. And back then, Transport for London it was about £110 million a year for their own private police. They were fully active officers within the Metropolitan Police Force, but their entire wage was paid for by Transport for London, which was its own kind of entity. Okay. and they worked exclusively with us. And that ended because of police cuts, and then it just kind of got worse and worse from there on in. But now we're at a stage where we have a lot of knife crime, as it's been well documented in news. Mm-hmm. And we're suddenly realizing that, well, after 8 years of austerity measures, after the last crash, where mental health provisions have been cut back, where NHS provisions have been cut back, where police provisions have been cut back, there was a very scary statistic that 9% of all burglaries countrywide get solved. 9%. So that's 91% of all burglaries get completely unsolved, to the point now where on some 999, well, you have 911 in your country, it's 999 in our country. Right. A lot of 999 calls, whether it's a serious attack or really serious crimes, I mean, alleged sexual assaults, people with blades, can go 3 hours without a police officer showing up. Oh, gosh. Some people have actually started employing security groups to privately manage their roads. So we are by no way means the guiding light in all this. But I think where we are is conflict resolution. And that's I think that's the most underrated tool in any law enforcement. The ability to take a situation and on a proactive basis gauge where this is likely to go through using communication, neuro-linguistic programming of judging what a person's character is like, what their subconscious kind of or conscious kind of body language can be, and guiding it via that. And like I said before, and I'll say it again, when your automatic response is a firearm, you have one of two choices: to use it or not to use it. When you warn somebody, if you do not stop doing that, or I'll shoot you, and that person then continues doing it, it subconsciously and consciously allows that person to unleash that weapon on that person because they have not complied with an action. Yeah. And that is a massive problem in the United States, because you see it time and time and time again where an officer will literally get out of his car with the gun already drawn. Yeah, it's pretty. So you are literally you're at 11 before you've even put foot to pavement. So where else is it going to go to? And then you also look at it, and it's unfortunate. It's a thing that you find hard to argue sometimes, because you look at it from the standpoint of the actual person breaking or potentially breaking law, because this is the thing. Not everyone that they come into contact with is actually breaking a law or doing anything wrong in the first place. But the people that really are, they're more likely to carry firearms, because I'm sure as fuck they're not going to go up against a police officer without some sort of protection. A lot more young people carry, and we're having this problem in this country where a lot of young people are carrying knives because of fear of what's happening in their community, because the really bad people are carrying them. So people are carrying them to protect themselves because they're in fear of that.
That's common for us with guns as well. That's like how we justify it.
And like Pickle Slicer said in earlier on, that about the training aspect, a lot of the training, the figures, I presume that was before you pass out as a fully fledged officer. No one talks about the continual training or lack thereof. And like I mentioned before, there's a group called the Gracies who invented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or their grandfather invented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they actively go around the country training police officers in police-orientated self-defense, because ironically, someone who knows how to take a gun off somebody or knows how to tackle somebody is actually less likely to get engaged in a physical conflict, because they have the confidence to gauge a response, and if it does go to that level, not pull out a gun and end that person's life.
Yeah, fighting the fear of just being like intimidated.
Yeah, but that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
And then, Thomas, do you, like, same question to you, does it feel weird, like, when you read headlines that might come from, like, America and the sort of brutality that you see in our police force? Is that just, like, is it just horrifying when you're from a place that doesn't have that sort of level of brutality?
Well, what I see in the news is, and in other news, not just mainstream news, but I peruse a lot of different news sites and stuff like that, and even 4chan and shit like that. But what I see is that the U.S. police isn't actually police anymore. It's a military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They come in. They're dressed military. They're the weapons they use are military grade, and they come in to kill. They don't come in to de-escalate the situation. They come in to actually neutralize the situation. And
that's really common. And like you said, they really do. I just read an article about, like you were saying, Thomas, almost all of the supplies from certain ones, they get them from military surplus stores. They really do carry military grade weapons. Some of the cities even have literal, like, armored tank vehicles. Yeah, literal armored tanks.
Well, you had that since the 1980s, but but it's been escalated.
Yeah,
really.
Especially since they're so intimidating these days, like the style of them.
I mean, they literally look like SUVs with, like, plates of armor all over them, and then they have, like, turrets on the top and shit.
They're really frightening. Like, and the idea of just seeing one of those ride down your city street, to me, like we were joking about, that sounds so much like a police state. And like you were saying, like they're essentially a paramilitary organization at this point. They're not like just servants.
Well, they are, because they also have a political arm as well. You not forget that the police do have a political branch.
They do, yeah.
It's the exact same thing in Mexico. The U.S. is now the exact same thing in Mexico, because the cartels own Mexico. It's not as bad in the U.S. yet, but it's getting there, because the drugs and the crime and how it governs everyday life, it's almost as bad as in Mexico. And Mexico is bad.
Yeah. And it's easy to do.
That's terrible.
Like, even just me, I am a normal person. I'm not like in any sort of life, and I could literally, I mean, sure, there might be a waiting period, but I could have a handgun and a bag of drugs to sell by next week, because I know people that sling drugs and I know people that sell guns. Or you can go to the store here. You don't have to know somebody. You can just go buy one.
Yeah.
Walmart.
You can just do it. You can go down to the Walmart, buy yourself a handgun, go down the street and just buy some drugs, and boom, now suddenly you're part of the problem, and you're geared to essentially to fight a siege. And it's a little weird that it's so easy to access things like drugs and like it's just illegal substances and advanced firearm technology just on the streets.
Well, just think about it for a second. I mean, Thomas made a really good point about Mexico. Imagine if there was an entire branch of the Mexican government whose sole responsibility was to stick up for the cartels. Because you have that in the US.
We do.
Because you have that in the US. The Republican Party literally has the police officers back no matter what. They don't even look at the actual details half the time. They just go, well, did they shoot another brown person? Right. Let's go and check out what. I mean, look at that poor sod that got killed by the off-duty drunk cop that wandered into his apartment and shot him in his own kitchen. One of the first things they did was the police department issued a search warrant on a dead person's apartment so that they could try and find evidence against him.
And then all of a sudden, like that they could find something.
And then all of a sudden they found marijuana. So then they're like, oh, well, the guy had weed in his apartment, because you're supposed to die for that if you have it in your kitchen.
Well, it is a controlled one substance.
She smelled it.
Yep. It is a controlled 1 substance here, on par with methamphetamine. So
It's Schedule 1 here as well. So it literally cocaine. Well, I mean, cocaine and heroin both have more of a medicinal purpose than marijuana. Even though we actually have cannabinoid receptors built into our bodies, that it's the only receptors we have that actually absorb. But no, you can't have that. I mean, all the opioids, you can have that all day fucking long.
Oh yeah, we love opioids here.
That green shit that grows in bushes and makes you feel placid. Yeah, no, you can't have that.
that plant that has like 100 different uses. No, let's make that illegal.
We could even that bit of paper that you guys stick to so rigorously. Yeah, written on weed.
But yeah, it's really unfortunate when, like, especially, not to change the subject, but it is, since you brought up opioids, it's really hard to watch them, like, everyone dying of opioids and there's an opioid crisis, and instead of trying to work on that, everyone's just screaming, hey, at least it's not marijuana. That would really do damage.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the put it, because I actually, me personally, I was supposed, you guys know that I have Thomas won't know this, but I'm an amputee, so I have a prosthetic leg, and I was supposed to see a surgeon literally 2 days ago to schedule secondary surgery. They turned around and said they can't do the surgery because I'm literally taking the NHS to court at the moment because of the negligence through the initial surgery. So they turned around and said, I'm sorry, we can't operate on you at the moment because we don't want to, in case we then get sued because we fuck up again. However, what we want you to do is we want you to take as many painkillers as you can physically cope with. And in their words, this is a surgeon, put up with it. So they're willing to write me an unlimited supply of codeine, tramadol, amytryptyline, pregabalin, and another one which escapes, gabapentin. 52 painkillers a day I was on at my worst, when I was falling asleep, remembering where I was, shouting at everybody, threatening people, and X, Y, and Z. They'd rather do that than give me an operation.
Good
so
Lord.
And we don't pay for our meds here. So I get my shit for free. Imagine what it's like in a state, full firsthand in Nebraska, where people, exactly, where you are basically incentivized. You have salespeople that walk into doctors' surgeries and go, "Hey, would you like to earn some extra money?"
Yeah, kickbacks
are drugs.
It's one of their best ways of making money here. Like it's not unusual. Like the same way I have Insane Lab shit all over my Twitch stream. You walk into a doctor's office and he's walks in his new lab coat and a hat that says gabapentin on it. And you're like, wait a second, bro. I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, do you remember that there was a small place. It was in the Midwest somewhere. It was a very small town. It was something like 19,000 people that lived in that town. Yep, and over 2 years, they'd gone through 8 million painkillers.
Yeah. I remember when that was
million
Where was that, in Kansas?
It was somewhere, but it was basically because what people were doing was they were getting prescriptions fulfilled and then selling them. They were selling them to drug dealers.
Well, because they are worth good money. I mean, it's unfortunate.
But the thing is, the police don't see this war on drugs going for pharmaceutical companies. Of course not, because they earn tax revenue. Yeah. And actually, ironically enough, so does marijuana. Marijuana earns an incredible amount of. If you actually banned all drugs tomorrow. And no one could get them, no one could pay for them, you would literally your money would be like, okay, where's that gone? Why can't we pay for anything anymore? Cocaine alone keeps your country running on an even keel.
It's true. Do you guys, both Thomas and Musty, do your guys' countries have the same problems with painkillers that America has, or is it more subtle, or is it more advanced? Do you guys have opioid crises in the UK or in Switzerland or around the areas?
Go on, Thomas, I'll let you answer.
Okay. It is extremely hard to get opioids here in Denmark.
Yeah, I would think that would be difficult in countries that are.
You have to be bleeding out of your ass before you get. No, trust me.
Opioids help that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have. It will. You can feel it. It will still happen, but you can't
feel a bit better about it.
Yeah. No. I've had problems with alcohol a lot, and I have what's it called? Abstinence? What's it called? Withdrawal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I actually had to vomit blood before I got help.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Me and Cord, we worked at a mental health and substance abuse place, and we would see people like literally unable to move or get out of bed before anyone would even lift a finger to help them. So we've seen some of that even here.
And even then, they're like, "Well, your meds don't come until Monday, so fuck off."
They're just like, "Well, deal with it." So, and it's and that's in a place where it's easy to get drugs.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, the thing was available to me immediately, but they didn't want to give them to me until they were absolutely certain that I needed them.
Yeah.
And after that, I got nothing, so I had to like shake, sweat, and be in pain for like 20 days after that.
And alcohol withdrawals are dangerous. Like, you're supposed to be on like anti-seizure medications. You should be on several things.
They give me that, but
that's
they
good at least, I guess.
It's stuff to help with the actual pain of withdrawal.
It's
the pain. They wanted me to feel it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's
so
actually helpful.
No,
That's
they
ultimately
actually
killed
said
them.
that. They actually said that they want. The doctor said, I want you to feel the pain. So whenever you try and go back to alcoholism, this is what you're going to feel again. But they kept the...
That's a brutal way of doing things.
It is, because
they are brutal
in
Denmark, but it works. It works.
Yeah.
Does it? See, I would have thought it would make you more likely to relapse being in that much pain.
I suppose it depends on the person.
I was in the hospital at the time. I couldn't drink.
That helps too. I'm weak.
Because
if I were in that much
20
pain,
days,
I would
20 days in
relapse.
the hospital cost me nothing.
Yeah,
So,
that's not 20 days in the hospital here costs you your firstborn child.
Yeah. So they kept me there and made sure that I was over the worst but they still kept me in pain. So I actually knew and learned, if I do it again, fuck you.
How did you feel? Are you comfortable with that? Like, are you glad that's the way they handled it, or were you just like unhappy about that?
No, I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
It worked very well.
See, I wish they did that over here.
So scared. I'm so scared of alcohol. Even eating candy with liquor in it.
I could imagine. That's
I'm
probably
like,
scarred.
oh shit. No, it really. I'm like, I flare up, and people say, "Are you okay?" And oh no, I was thinking something else, and it really, it's a harsh way to do it. It's like almost like a Russian Soviet era way to do it, but it works.
We specialize in doing it weekly here. Like, we have like every state has like 42 rehab centers where they put you on like methadone and stuff like that to ease it. Like, we've turned it into a revolving door of like trying. Like, it's here we actually have articles written and studies done, because there's a lot of people that think that our system in America is literally meant to keep people sick so that they go out, relapse, and pay money to keep going through programs forever.
It's profit-based rehabilitation, isn't it?
Yeah, we have that all over.
We have that here as well. I mean, the UK. I mean, this is where I will actually go against the NHS. We have a free healthcare service in this country, and I know Denmark has the same, doesn't it? It has a free healthcare. Yeah, but the problem is with us. Because of cuts that have been made to here, there, and everywhere. At this moment in time, a report recently came out in the UK that there are 190,000 unfilled positions within the mental health and nursing industry in this country. And that's based on us being cunts when it comes to not wanting people from other countries to come over here and work, and not training our own people folk to actually work for their own self. Because we have a long history of not wanting to do shit, so we bring other people in from other countries to come and do it for us.
Oh, really?
And now that we're kind of sticking our middle finger up to Brussels and saying everyone out, we're then going, okay, who's going to pick our fruit? Who's going to look after us?
Who's going to do this for us?
Oh
now?
Shit! But basically, this is the problem with the NHS is because there's such a shortage. So if I want to go and see a doctor, if it's a general practitioner or GP over here, I can wait anything up to 2 weeks for an appointment. If it's an emergency, I can get one that day, but I have to literally go and sit in a doctor's office and just wait.
Yeah, for an opening, yeah.
Now, generally, a GP consultation is roughly around about 4 to 7 minutes. So in that time period, that doctor has to diagnose what's wrong with you, have an actual path of rehabilitation and or treatment, and then refer you off to whoever he needs to refer you off to. So generally, if you walk through the door and go, I'm sad or I'm in pain, the knee-jerk first response is take these.
Yeah.
And they give you some pills. You go out, if you're unemployed, you pay nothing for your prescriptions. If you are employed, you pay £7 no matter what the prescription is for. So it's a blanket coverage. It could be the most expensive painkiller in the world. It could be the cheapest. It's £7.28 or something like that, and then you get it. If you have a long-term medical condition like I do, you get a card, you show it, and they go, welcome back, sir. Here's your free meds. And then off you go into the sunset again. But this is the problem. I actively don't take my medication, my pain medication, because I don't like what it turns me into. I don't like what I become.
And they're horribly addicting.
And the problem is I suffer. I mean, at my worst, I had bones sticking out of my foot that I was walking on a daily basis. I had a 2-inch hole in the bottom of my foot. I was infected. I had a stent coming out of my armpit that was into my heart, pumping antibiotics in to fight infection. And I still wouldn't take the medication because I'm that scared of becoming addicted to that.
Yeah.
Then if you look at somebody who then gets given medication, then on top of that, you're then given benefits in the UK because you are on drugs or because you have a dependency. Then if you have two people, we have a thing called carer's allowance. So basically, if someone is registered as disabled or as dependent, one person can say, I look after that person for more than X, Y hours a week. I then get money from the state to look after that person. You then have two drunks, two alcoholics, two drug dependent people, whatever. One signs up for one as their carer. The other person signs up for their carer too. So you have two dependents who are registered carers for the other dependent. Guess what happens? You then get in this cycle of like dependency that is being paid for by the state, essentially. And then you are given free drugs on top of that. And because we don't have a good enough mental health service, we then can't put you anywhere if we need to. So we have a massive problem with over medication. And it has and this is the thing, people, I love my country, but I also see how ridiculously stupid we've become. And how blindsided we have become to it's either capitalism or it's Marxism. That's essentially what people argue about in this country. It's so stupid. If you are left-leaning, you are some Soviet-loving, you automatically want to be paid $80,000 a year if you're a cleaner, or $80,000 if you're a doctor. If you're right-leaning, then obviously you want everyone that's a different shade of white to fuck off and go live on an island. And then the rest of you play Battle Royale with everything else. And it's sad because unfortunately, to get things right, people, and it's the horrible truth, and it's why I was saying before about going back to the brutality stuff about removing all guns from America overnight. To get things right in America, people will have to die, and it sounds awful and it sounds terrible, but to implement if you turned around tomorrow and said, right, all guns out of America, everyone sign this form, we're going to take everything, people will die that day and will continue dying until you either overrule the people that have got 4 guns, or the 4 guns people actually manage to do what their amendment says and their fight against the tyrannical government, which is never going to happen.
No, not anytime in the near future, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah.
And it's sad. But
that's all of it. We get in a lot of vicious cycles here too, so we could definitely relate to that.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think it's the end of the episode.
Yeah, we probably are on that. Oh, yeah. Yep, we're just about to hit it.
So, thank you so much, Thomas, for coming in.
Yeah, Thomas and Musty, thank you guys for coming in and giving us some of the opinions. I especially like it since you guys aren't American. It's really nice to get the opinion from places that are different from where we're from, because sometimes it just feels like we're living in some sort of like weird, like fake world here in America, because it does. It feels like it's
called an echo chamber.
Yes,
it does. That's what it feels like, though.
The only thing you hear is the same thing you think.
Yeah,
but it is true. It's very, very true. I mean, the weirdest thing is that from a lot of Americans, you only hear about your stuff.
Yes,
and for people that live outside America, especially countries that are very closely affiliated, like the UK, we hear nothing but American news. So we're force-fed it. and you guys only live your own news. You don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that there's like problems going on in Germany or problems going on in Sweden or
No.
it's a very topsy turvy situation.
It is.
But it is getting better. It is getting better. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know how far it's going to get before everyone has to put on the hard hats and hide under the tables.
Oh
Yeah.
God. Well, hopefully it stops before that.
Yeah.
But we'll
Hopefully.
see. Hard to tell right now.
But thank you guys. Both
Thank
of
you for tonight.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
thank
guys
you.
so much for coming on and talking to us.
Anytime.
Really appreciate it.
And
Good luck.
thanks for that sub, Musty.
Oh, you're welcome. Of course, it was going to happen.
Oh, you know what? I think mine's up. Hold on. Oh yeah,
as soon
my
as
prime's
Nixie
up.
gets his ass back onto streaming, I'll sub on that as well.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it for real
Good
this
man.
time.
Yeah,
Good man.
You better. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Good night.
Have a
Take care.
fantastic evening, guys.
All right, everybody else, let's start the end. Just a few announcements.
God damn it, I missed my own sub. I looked away for too long to X out of Discord.
Thanks for that
Replay
sub.
my sub. Do you have the thing pulled up?
I don't know if I can.
You don't have the program I gave you pulled up that like shows
I
what
believe I forgot to.
Oh, put it on there.
Oh wait,
That's
hold on.
okay.
I can do it from the Streamlabs OBS.
Yeah, replay my sub. I didn't get to see it.
There you go. We got boxes full of Pepe.
Yeah, boxes.
Thanks for that sub, Nixon. All right, guys. So yeah, we obviously are affiliated now. I just got really busy during this week. I wanted to. Oh, thanks for that follow, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you. We got to get you some of these bad boys for your people. You gotta draw up yourself some of those.
That's pretty good.
There's that follow. Thanks, Thomas. Yeah, I got busy. I want to do them myself, so I'm gonna work on the emotes this week. We're gonna change up the intro because obviously now we're affiliated, so now we're getting cut for copyright. So basically, the intro after post live, it basically is just like it's quiet. You know?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a new intro. We're gonna do an outro now, so we don't have to do these awkward ass outros.
Yeah, like the like stream ending like sort of screens that like move around.
And
Stuff.
it'll flash the Instagram, the YouTube, the Facebook, and all that stuff. But for this episode, we're gonna have to do it manually and hard. So let's get it done, right?
All right, man.
All right, so
Done, Musty.
everyone, we've got the Instagram. It's the Nevermind Podcast. Go check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
We should definitely use Musty. We should whenever we do an intro, we should let's make it like an electro house intro and just use all of Musty's voice as like samples.
Yeah, we could
Like
do that.
posh.
Posh.
Just gonna get him to say a bunch of British things and then press them throughout the intro.
Yeah.
On a fucking sample pad.
So guys, we take the video from the podcast and we put it on YouTube. Apparently now that we're affiliated, we have to wait a whole 24 hours. Which
I
is
didn't know that.
yeah, because apparently since we're affiliated with Twitch, we can't have anything like with YouTube.
Oh, right.
So the guidelines say you have to wait 24 hours from the live stream to then post it to YouTube. It's supposed to be like
Some
a
of the
Twitch.
rules are so weird.
Yeah, it's like a Twitch exclusive like rule or whatever. So tomorrow after 5 p.m., the video from today's episode will be on YouTube. Unless you're watching on YouTube now, then it's already here.
Fucking mind fuck, Chris Angel.
We got the Facebook fan page. Look for the Nevermind Podcast. We've got the Twitter. It's at the Nevermind Podcast. I think it's not my overlay. That's funny. But yeah, it's at the Nevermind Podcast. We also take
Oh, by the man.
sound.
You're not affiliated, Musty, dude. I'll just bump you there. I'll bump you there tomorrow. I'll just fucking I can hold open two tabs on Cal and my screen. Just put them off to the side a little. I shrink them up. I get people affiliated like that all the time. I'll just help you out, man. We'll get you there.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I should check your schedule. Most of the time I can tune in for your streams. I feel like I'm always either sleeping or you're done like right when I'm like, oh shit, Musty went live, and then I click it and you're gone.
Sometimes I can make it's early to me because it's like 8:00 in the morning, but it's like after school for him.
Yeah.
So sometimes
We'll fucking get you there. It ain't no thing.
We'll do it. We
I leave
take
tabs open all the time to help out.
we take the audio from this and we put it on SoundCloud, and it also puts it onto our iTunes. So if you guys happen to be doing your janitor job, vacuuming that CEO's floor, you can listen to our beautiful voices on the SoundCloud and iTunes. All right, guys. I think am I missing anything else? I think I'm missing. Oh yeah, the Reddit. Check out the Reddit, the Discord. Put some cool ass content, memes. Any animators out there that want to take funny moments that the episodes and turn them into animations, that'd be. Otherwise, yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for coming. It was really serious. It was probably really boring. It was really depressing.
I don't think boring, just depressing. Just depressing.
It was just depressing. So next episodes, we promise we're gonna have a couple fun episodes.
I'm gonna go do arm day, bro.
Do arm day. I'm gonna go play Spider-Man. So that's my arm day.
That's arm day.
That's arm day for me.
Just jerk off afterward. It'll count.
Well, that always happens too.
Yeah, you just work out that arm good.
Okay, let's play Spider-Man. All right, guys. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for coming. Keep coming. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are able to subscribe. Be very much appreciated. Love you all. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out the merch store. Lots of cool stuff there.
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna
iPhone
get a
case
hoodie.
is coming tomorrow. Actually, it'll be cool.
Nice.
All right, guys. We love you all. Have a beautiful night.
Bye.